Hey guys, this is part two. I had to break it up because I get to talking and it will take forever. Okay, so where were we? I kind of left off with shipping and just told you guys don't guess. Go and get an estimate or invest in a postal scale that you can kind of find out. And I think you can go to USPS.com, for shipping costs. Also, I don't ship. I don't ship outside of the US, although there was somebody I made an exception for, but they asked, and they, asked through private message, if, would I mind shipping to Canada if they paid the extra shipping costs or, whatever. And I decided to do it. Again, this is your choice, what you choose to do, but for the most part, I do inside US. I feel bad about that because it kind of limits you too, but I don't. A lot of things, I want the people to get a bargain, and if you have to pay the extra shipping costs, plus you have to fill out a customs form if you're shipping to Canada. So I have done it, and you can choose to do it. It's just there's a little more involved in that. If that's something you choose to do, if you want to just put US only or, whatever like that, you can do that. Okay, so that's shipping. The PayPal fees, you're going to get charged PayPal fees, but again, PayPal is something that protects you. And as annoying as it is, it kind of helps you because then if somebody doesn't pay or everything's done where they can't get to your bank account, like everything's protected. So, it's kind of worth it. If you want to find out the exact fees, I think it's something like 2.9% and then plus 30 cents for every transaction, something like that. Don't quote me on that, but just go to the PayPal website and it'll tell you what they're going to charge. Gifting someone. Again, this is something that I've done for somebody that I know. And I also had people that offered to, gift me or whatever. This is totally up to you, but I will tell you the Scrapyard rules don't allow it. And I think that they can remove you if you decide to, I guess, break their rules. So you can't go on, for example, and say, and I learned this, you learn all these things. You're new to this website, you don't know. Because I'd really like to get my Cricut Expression sold, but it's going to cost me so much in fees. But before I knew this, you can't post like pay via gift to Melissa Baylor or whatever your name is. You can't do that. You have to go through PayPal. And you can get in trouble, so you can't like request to be paid via gift. And the reason for that is if it's paid via gift, it's just at PayPal it's looked at as a gift. There's no protection on it. So say you pay somebody, $100 via gift to save them the fees. If they don't ship it to you, PayPal can't go back in and protect you and, track it because it was done through gift. And I think that's their way of basically making their money. But at the same time, like I said, they can protect you. So anyway, so I'd say probably don't do it. Again, obviously you can do whatever you guys want to do, but I'm just trying to give you some tips. So no, but you're not allowed, as far as the rules and stuff, to request somebody to pay you via gift. What else did I write here? Listing prices. When you're listing prices on your items, it's really basically what you want to make from it. But what I think would be a good tip is factor in what your PayPal fees are going to be and also factor in your shipping. I prefer to do a listing as, say you have like 3 punches or 5 punches. I prefer to do, say, $30 shipped US versus $15 plus what the shipping is, and then people will say, what's shipping to this zip code? What's shipping to that zip code? Like, I like to include it all one flat rate, and then I just kind of look at it this way. It makes it easier for me, and I'll just eat it if there's too much extra cost. But try to factor all that in, and it's been working for me. So but you can choose to do it that way. And some people also, I see some people are doing groupings, like say they lay out all their items and then they put, I guess, like as a lot. And yes, that would be easier, but sometimes if you have a ton of little small items, you might do better listing them individually, because people will try to hack you down, and say, oh, well, you take this for it, well, you take that for it. And you have the right to be stern, or you have the right to, work with the people if you want to get your items sold. You're going to get some low ball offers, but this is life. Like, this is what can happen anywhere. You're going to get some people that offer you something ridiculous, and you just, you know, you be nice and you just say thank you, but I'm going to hold out to try to stick with my price that I posted. However you want to handle it, that's up to you, but that's what I would do. You know, if it's something too low that you're really, you know, it's really kind of going to rip you off, then just, you know, say no nicely, or just say, you know, I'm going to hold out. Just be prepared. These are just things to kind of prepare you guys. But like I said, I like to list something, you know, say it would cost $2 to ship, and say you want at least $10 for it. Maybe you could put like $14 shipped or something like that to help you cover PayPal fees, or, you know, whatever like that. But if you are going to list something, don't put it like this. Say you're selling something for $10 and don't put shipping $5.90 and then your shipping actually be $2, because some people might get offended by that. And if you're doing, like, if you want to add in for your PayPal fees, do something like this. Put, you know, say you're selling spellbinders. Put spellbinders $10 plus $2.95 for shipping and PayPal fees. So that way, you know, they know it's going towards something, and they're not going to look like, hey, you only paid $1.90 and you charged me $2.90 for this. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So I'm just trying to avoid, this is how I've been through my whole life. You just try to avoid bumping heads with people. I mean, unless you're that type personality, but I don't feel like dealing with anybody's issues, so you guys are probably the same. So hopefully that helps you. What else I have? Selling individual, I touched on that. So sometimes it helps to do, like, I'll do like a punch lot maybe with like 1, 2, 3, you know, 3 to 5 punches in it. But like, I wouldn't do something with a whole lot in it. I mean, it's just a lot of, you can do it, it's just a lot more work. And like I said, you're going to get some people saying, hey, you know, say you listed it for $60, you're going to get some people saying, would you take 25? Would you take, you know, like, get out of here. But, you know, you'll get a little bit of anything. Bumping. If you see a lot, I get this a lot. People ask, what's BTT or bump or whatever? BTT means bring to the top or bump it up, or some people put bumpity bump, you know, whatever. What that basically means is if you comment on your own photo, that brings it to the top, because this is a constantly quick moving website. So if you post your item, you could see it'll go quick, you know, it's already gone. So if you want to bring it to the top, they technically want you to only comment on your actually album as a whole. So that way, you know, put something like new items added to Melissa's D-Stash, and then put the date. And they want to make sure your name and dates are on your albums, because they'll go deleting you too. So there's certain rules like that. And to make an album, you have to go to the top, click the album section. It's really easy, because I'm not really good with computers and I can figure it out. So if I can do it, you guys can do it. But you just go to the top, click albums, and then, you know, create a new album or whatever, and it's basically in there. And then you just update it as needed. But make sure you list your first and last name and then the date, because if it's not in that format, they go through and delete it after a while. And it does get hard to find, and there's not really, somebody was saying like if you hit Control F or something, but my Mac doesn't do that. And it can be sometimes hard to find people's album. They're trying to make it in alphabetical order, but it's kind of sloppy all over the place. So I think they're trying to work on it, but, you know, for the most part it's alphabetical order, but there's a lot at the top that aren't. So just try, you know, to find it in there. And basically just, you know, read the rules or whatever in there. But the bumping thing is the rules say, like, you're limited. You can only bump or bring to the top an item no more than 5 times a day, because they don't want you to flood out the message board, and then, you know, not everybody else's stuff is getting seen, because one person could put bring to the top, bring to the top, bring to the top, and you only see their photos, and everybody else is kind of getting pushed down lower and lower, and then they kind of get lost. So, you know, it's a way of them keeping, you know, rules and all. And like there's administrators, and if you do something wrong, a lot of times they'll private message you to kind of yell at you or whatever. So you're not going to get, you know, screamed at unless you do something like really wrong. But, you know, I've heard people say that the Scrapyard's catty, or it's There's a lot of drama. And I bet it could be if you're not doing the right thing. But I try to do the right thing, so you're not really going to, hear much of that. So, like, if somebody, there's also an ISO, which means in search of, and there's an album in the photo section too. So you just don't want to do things like this, as an example. If somebody puts, ISO, this certain Stampin' Up! Punch, and shows a picture of it, and then say somebody else posts and says, hey, Melissa, I have that. Then you as another person wouldn't want to come in and say, oh, I need that too, how much is it, or whatever, and kind of steal it from them. So it's just kind of common sense, like common courtesy. It's all stuff you should kind of already know just as a human being, but just try to be mindful of that, and then you guys should be fine. But overall, it's a great place. I've got rid of so much stuff, and I'm so glad because it kind of helps out financially too. Like I haven't had to use any of my, like, say, paycheck money towards my craft supplies since I've been on here, because like you kind of do, I mentioned this before, that I think it's Vanessa from Butterfly Love, I think she is here on YouTube, but she says she does the PayPal shuffle, meaning the money that's in there, she just uses that to pay for craft items and not her, like, pocket money, I guess we'll say, or like your debit card or whatever. So it kind of works out good. You get rid of your stuff, and there's stuff you're not using. And I'm clearing out my craft room too, and it's actually getting neater in there because I'm getting rid of stuff that was kind of just collecting I wasn't using. And then you make money to buy new goodies. And you can get a lot of goodies at discount prices. So one more thing I just want to add is that also on this website, you're not really going to get full price for the items, which is a shame, but it is what it is. It's almost like a craft yard sale. So like, you'll get more bites if you, discount it a little. Like, people on here kind of know how to get bargains and know the real price of something, and they probably don't want to pay the real price of something either used or, whatever. So on here, you're going to get offers, lower. So try to keep it, moderate priced, I guess, the best price that you can give, but yet you still make a little bit of money on, if that makes any sense, because people are just going to ignore your posts if you put it for too much, or even if you put it for original price, because you might think, hey, well, I paid, $20 for the stamp set, but chances are, like, you might want to list it for more like $15 or whatever, because the people would just get it from the website. Does that make sense? So I hope this helps, and I'm sure there's tons more questions, and I'll try to answer them as they come. And let me know if you guys have any more questions, and I hope this helps a lot of my new subscribers, and I'm so glad to see you guys listing and selling things on there. It makes me happy. It makes me feel like a proud mama when you go on there and you're selling things and, make a little money for yourself. So the hard part is to just make the money and then not spend it right back on there, but it is what it is, and we all do it. So if anybody has any questions, let me know, and I hope you enjoyed this long, drawn-out video. Okay, bye guys.